Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Kate Tobin, and I'm going to be talking to you today about the BCL in DCU, which is Law and Society. So I will just share my screen now. So I hope everyone can see that anyway. I can't see the chat right now. So if you have any questions or if as we're going along, if there's anything you want to ask me or anything you want to point out, you can leave it in the chat and then we can go back to it at the end because I can't do it now. So I'm so sorry. If you leave a comment, I'm not ignoring you. But yeah, thank you so much for coming to the talk today. So as I said, my name is Kate and I am a final year law student in DCU. So I'll just bring you through these few slides and you can see what it's like to do law in DCU. So these are just kind of the basic course details. So the CAO code, obviously very important when you're filling out the CAO, just to note it. But that's all on the DC website. So it's DC232. It is, of course, an undergraduate degree and an NFQ level 8. So it is a full-time degree. So it lasts from either 3 or 4 years. And last year, the points were 498. So we'll just kind of start off about why you should do law in DCU, why I picked to do law in DCU. I just thought it was so interesting. So I had been researching when I was trying to learn my CAO. I knew I really wanted to do law. I really liked English and history in school, and those were my favorite subjects. And I did, when I was in transition year, I did work experience in the courts in Dublin, in the criminal courts, and I thought it was so interesting, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I knew kind of that I wanted to do law. So that was kind of the first step. So then it was trying to find which college to go to. So I was looking around kind of the different universities, and I had just I'm from Limerick, so I wasn't really kind of too sure about colleges in Dublin. And when I was researching DCU, I just thought it was so interesting, like law and society. I hadn't seen like a course like anywhere like that before. Like you would see law and French or law in another language or law with other subjects, but never law and society. So I thought that was really interesting. And then when I started to look into it, I thought it was a really unique course. It's not something that's offered in other universities. So I really liked it, and I'm really, really glad I picked it. So law in DCU is unique to other colleges because we explore how law is reflected by society, how the laws change as society changes and grows, and how the law has to catch up to keep up with that. So that's something that's unique about doing law in DCU, but don't be afraid. We'll say doing law and society, it's the exact same thing as doing just law in any other university, in Trinity, in UCD, in UCC. It's the exact same. Like, so you would still have all the same qualifications as anyone doing law anywhere else. It's still a law degree. It's just with a little twist on it. So you're still qualified, as I said, point two. You're still qualified to go to the Law Society. You can do your FE1 exams. You can do go on and be a barrister in the King's Inn. So you have all the same qualifications as anywhere else. And then what's really good about DCU as well is so you can't do a 3-year degree, but you can also extend your studies for another year, and you can do a year placement in either a law firm or anywhere. You could do an accounting firm. There's loads of different places, and DCU is very good at kind of helping everyone get their CV sorted, getting you kind of prepped for interviews, and then trying to make sure as many people as possible get an interview. So it's really good. And you can also do a year of Erasmus if you want. I think this year the choices for Erasmus were Scotland, Poland, China, and Spain, I believe. So some really, really nice opportunities. So I'll just take you through the core modules that we will be doing. So in first year, for the entire year, it's all core modules. So everything you see on the screen here, you have to do. There is no choice. So we have constitutional law, introducing law, which is just kind of a basic, running you through the different, the constitution, like law. It's like tells you like everything at a basic level. So it's really good for people who know they might want to do it but don't have that kind of foundation, it's really, really good. Law of torts, which is claims, very, very popular, very important if you're doing it in practice. Criminal law, of course, and foundations of legal research, which is a really important module, helping us write assignments and helping us get into like the legal writing mind. And then in semester 2, you continue on doing constitutional law. It's just broken up into the 2 semesters. So just carrying on with that. Foundations of legal research as well. So another module helping us continue on with writing assignments. Advanced tort law, advanced criminal law, public international law, which is really, really interesting, like the laws in like all over the world, the laws that govern how countries interact with each other, and critical approaches to law, which helped us kind of, is very important when you're doing assignments and you're writing essays, how to think critically, which is very important if you want those high marks. And then year 2, moot court, which is really, really cool. I think that ends up being everyone's favorite module. So everyone is split up into groups and you basically get a fake case and you have to present it. So you get to pretend to be lawyers, which is really, really cool. Terrifying, but really cool. And it's amazing in DCU because we have a moot courtroom. So it's like you would see in a court or like in TV. So you have the podiums, and then some of our lecturers will be the judges, and then you can have the audience and you have to present your case and argue your case in front of everyone. And it was a really, really interesting module. Now, unfortunately, when I was doing it, it was during COVID, so we had to do it by Zoom, which helped with the nerves a little bit. But it's a really, really good experience and really good to get you out of your comfort zone and make other friends, like get to know other people in your course as well, because you're working with different groups. So it was a really, really enjoyable module. And then, of course, property law, family law, company law, all really, really interesting modules. They're our core modules, so you have to do those. The law of contract, European Union law, and healthcare law, which is something that I don't believe is offered in other universities. I think there's a couple of modules in DCU that are just kind of exclusive to DCU. We're really, really lucky that we have these modules that aren't offered anywhere else, which is then tied into the law and society aspect. So it's, again, healthcare law, how this is so important for society. And then, so those were our core modules. And then you could pick if you wanted to do company law too, and then advanced property and law and dispute resolution, which is really, really interesting because not all cases go to trial and go to court. They can be settled out of court using the different dispute resolution techniques. And then international human rights law, which is really interesting. Everyone ends up really, really liking that. And it was really, really good because a lot of the other modules would have an exam at the end or maybe assignments, but it was cool for human rights law. We could do like a YouTube video and we had to explain a topic that we really liked. So it was a different, like an interesting way of having an assignment. So something different anyway. So that was very enjoyable. And then in final year, which is my year, the core modules you have to do is jurisprudence, which is like the theory of law and like the science kind of behind law and why the laws, kind of the history of how we got to how the laws are currently. Genetics law and law and body politics, which are 2 modules which aren't offered anywhere else in any other course in Ireland, any other law degree anyway. Genetics law was super interesting. We did that last semester and just would tell you how genetics, it's such a personal thing. It's for you, your family, and how, sometimes if you're in a job, you might be asked to do like a health questionnaire and they ask you all these information, but are they allowed to be? So we were doing that. And then law and body politics, very similar as well, how we have like the rights to our own bodies and all the different laws that govern that. So 2 really, really interesting modules that we're lucky to do. And our lecturers, Aisling Dubois and Dr. Niamh Fertila, like they're amazing lecturers who are the top of their fields, experts. We had law and body politics today, and our lecturer, she's an expert. She knows all the readings that you get, like from that you have to do. You go to the library. We have the lecturers. They wrote the books. Like they're amazing at what they do. So it's really, really interesting learning from them, and they know what they're talking about. So it's great being able to learn from them. And then our optional modules are administrative law, employment law, equity and trusts, law of evidence, intellectual property, climate change law, international trade law. You can do a dissertation if you want, which it is optional in DCU. So you can pick between doing a dissertation, or if you don't want to do that and you want to do 2 extra modules, you can choose to do that, because of course writing assignments, writing essays, it's not for everyone. So it would be only fair then that you shouldn't be forced to do something if you're not comfortable with that. And then the union module is if you're really involved with like societies, if you do lots of sports, if you're really engaged with DCU and life in DCU, that might be a module for you to reflect that and to praise you for like getting involved in campus life and society life. And that is a really interesting. I know people who do that and they really, really enjoy it. So that's nice. Again, it's a little bit of a break from the law and from all the heavy aspects of the course and all the reading. So it's a nice change that you can do. And then technology law as well, which is of course very, very topical. So in our intro year, so in DCU, you can do 3 years of a law degree. So you can do just the 3 years that I've outlined, and you can graduate, and that's fine. Or if you want, you can do an extra year between 2nd year and 3rd year, which is called intra. So it is a year-long work placement year in the 3rd year of your degree. So that is an amazing opportunity for lots of students. Last year, I I think 40 or 50 people went out on placement, me being one of them, and I absolutely loved it. I was so sad going back to college this year because it was so nice to be working for a year and earning, and it was just an amazing experience. And even just the process of, I did so many interviews, which was terrifying, but it was a really, really good experience, and I loved working. I was in an accounting firm, which is nothing, you would think that has nothing at all to do with law, and it didn't, but I just wanted to do something different, to keep my options open, and I really enjoyed it. And DCU is great. They they try and get as many students out as they possibly can. So people went to the top law firms in Dublin. People were in Dublin City Council. There was people in in-house legal teams for different companies. I think there was someone in Dublin Airport. There was someone at Kellogg's. There was people everywhere. There's just a DCU person probably everywhere you went. So it was really, really nice. And then it's great because, if you go at placement, you get placement, you're making connections. You might some people get offered a job afterwards. After their year of placement, you might get a summer job and things like that. You get a training contract, which is obviously very important if you want to become a solicitor. So things like that, it can be really, really comforting to have had that experience, have that, just that bit of security for when you come back in final year. It is really, really valuable. And then, so the last point there, you return to final year and then you can graduate. So you do that extra year between second year and third year, and then you come back to DCU for your final year then. So different career opportunities for the BCL. So different routes you can go down. You can become a barrister or solicitor, of course. A solicitor is, we'll say, in an office, and they would get to meet with clients and get the case ready for court, and then the barrister is the person who presents it in court and who says the case and who gets the file and has to argue it in front of the judge. So those are the two kind of main typical routes that people who do law go down, but you're not you do not, those are not the only two options at all. If you decide you want to do law but maybe you don't want to go into law, you don't want to have to practice law, that is absolutely fine. You can go into politics, civil service, research, you can go into policy making, international institutions, you can work for the EU, the UN. People love a law degree. It's so universal and it's so interesting, and you can never go wrong with having a lawyer on your side. So I think a lot of employers really, really look to really like seeing a law degree. They think it's really valuable. It's a really useful skill, and it's a really transferable degree. And the skills that you learn in a law degree, you can apply them for any profession. And even I know people who've done journalism and have gone on to do masters in English afterwards, because you get really good at writing essays and writing assignments, and there's a lot of reading and writing involved. So if you want to do that, there's so many different opportunities. But as I say, most people, if you're doing law, tend to go down, we'll say, the route of becoming a barrister or solicitor. So if you want to become a barrister, once you have your law degree, be it in DCU or wherever you get your law degree, then you must go to the King's Inn afterwards, and you have to pass the King's Inn entrance exams. I believe there is 10. I hope that's right. I know you can look it up. It's either 8 or 10. I think it's 10. And then all of those modules, all of those entrance exams that you have done, you have done so in all of the modules that I showed you earlier. So you are guaranteed, you will have them all done. So it's just basically doing those exams again to qualify as a barrister. And then when you've gone to the King's Inn and you've passed the King's Inn entrance exams and you've done your time in the King's Inn, then you are self-employed. So you are kind of relying on kind of connections that you make with different solicitors, and then you're just hoping that they will refer you and that they will refer you to their clients, and then you can present their case in court. That's from a barrister. So if you're big into public speaking, presenting, that would be the route for you. And then if you would prefer maybe to work in the office and work with the client and work on the case file and basically preparing kind of what the barrister says in court, then a solicitor would probably suit you best. So once you have your university degree, once you have your law degree, you have to pass the 8 FE1 exams. So again, those are all of those exams are modules that you'll have covered in undergrad. So those are your FE1 exams, and then you get a training contract in one of the different law firms, and then you have to complete your PPC in Blackhall Place. So that's where the solicitors go. So King's Inn is where the barrister goes, and Blackhall, the Law Society, is where solicitors go. And flying through this now. Why you should come to DCU? Well, the lecturers and everyone who teaches us in the School of Law and Government are absolutely incredible. All the lecturers are amazing. And as I said earlier, Aisling and Tanya, some of the lecturers that we have, they are top of their field. Like they write the books, they write the articles that people study, that we're studying, that we're reading. Like they know exactly what they're talking about. They are just brilliant, and they're so, everyone in DCU, like all of the lecturers, they're so kind. They all have office hours, so if there's anything maybe that you're having a problem with in class, if sometimes it can be a bit intimidating to put your hand up in class or ask a question. So if you want to go to their office hours, if you want to email them a question, they are so approachable. They're all so lovely, and they just want to help. And they're absolutely phenomenal. So that is probably the best reason why you should go. Everyone is very nice. But the facilities also in DCU are incredible. Like as I mentioned before as well, the moot courtroom, like that is just the best experience for standing up in front of everyone and like absolutely terrified. And we'll say we have different group presentations sometimes, so it's not just exams and assignments, but kind of different ways of assessment. So like they have facilities for that are amazing, and you would be terrified, absolutely terrified, but it's such a good experience, and you feel so good then when it's done, and you're like, I did that. It's very, you feel very accomplished after it. So the facilities are amazing. Or if you're into sports, there's an amazing gym, state-of-the-art gym. There's a pool. There is different grounds for sports, football, soccer. I think there's tennis. I wouldn't be into sports now, but I know there's state-of-the-art facilities. They're absolutely brilliant. And then the clubs and societies are, again, one of the best parts about DCU. There is a society, I think there's a club literally for everyone. And if you find, I guarantee you that you will find a club that you'll want to be a part of. And if you don't, you can make your own one. So if you get 20 signatures from you and fellow students, then you can make your own society. So a lot of people do that, and it's just so fun. And if you really are into law, there's the Law Society, there's the FLAC, the Free Legal Aid Clinic, and LSAT. They're all three main law societies in DCU, and they are brilliant, and they're always organising events. There's a group chat at the moment, and it's just buzzing at the moment. There's so many events that are taking place and organised over the next few weeks. And now is kind of the time that job interviews and training contracts and all this is going on. So it's really, really good in DCU. We'll say the employers in, and there's different career fairs. So all of the employers will be there in our building, in our student building, and all the employers were there, and they all have their own stands. You can go up to them, talk to them, get a feel of the company, and it's really good too. You can make connections. So if you are talking to someone from one of the firms, they can be like, oh yes, like I know you, I remember you, and like go to your CV and be like, oh, I remember I talked to this person in DCU. So it's a really, really good way to meet different employers, make connections. And there's a legal speed meet going on next week, I believe, and like past students are coming back, like people who are trained solicitors now to give us advice, to help us with our CVs. Like the Law Society organises brilliant events, so it's really, really good. Career opportunities, of course. DCU is the #1 college in Ireland for graduate employment. Everyone gets intra, everyone gets a job after intra. Like it is brilliant. I was absolutely delighted when I got my intra placement, and all going well, I'll be going back there next year. So you will be absolutely sorted if you do intra. And then again, if you just want to do your 3 years and get them over with, that is absolutely no problem. You can do that as well. So yeah, I think that's the end of my presentation anyway. Thank you so much for everyone who listened, and have a lovely evening. Bye.